Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. Thank you so much for joining KP Storytime. As always, first I pray my mother, my father, then my gurus, and also the Atithi Devo Bhava, all the guests who are all present here today. Thank you so much for joining us today. In this story time, we are discussing about Ramayana, Rama's biography. Rama is supposed to be the god Vishnu came down to earth to prove how a human being has to live. What are all the values a human being has to have? And it is possible. He has never behaved as a god, but he behaved exactly like a common human being, and he proved that we all can live like him. So this entire story is to say that only God can do. I'm just a human being, I can't do this. That kind of a thought process we should take away, because he lived like a human being and met with all the values that he preached. So far, the story will recap. Dasaratha was a very well known king. He did not have kids, he had three wives. He did not have kids, so he performed Ashwametha Yaga and then Uttarakameshti Yaga. Those are the two ritual ceremonies he performed. He was blessed with four sons. Vishnu himself, the protector of three Hindu gods, he himself has taken four forms and was born to three wives of Dasaratha: Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrugna. Rama and Lakshmana were closer to each other. Lakshmana never left Rama, whereas Shatrugna never left Bharata. That does not mean that there are two teams there. They're all one team, but again, the siblings were close to each other that way. Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna always respected Rama, always looked at him to get the guidance. Vishwamitra once came, he took Rama and Lakshmana with him to safeguard his yaga, which is again a spiritual ceremony. He just used it as a reason to take Rama from Dasaratha so that he can teach him, he can guide him, give him all the powers that he needs in the future. Also, make him or be eligible to get married. He created his, he created his personality. Until then, he was just 16-year-old kid, and he was always with Dasaratha within the kingdom, always protected. All of that. He did not have any real life experience outside. Vishwamitra took him with him, and he gave so many stories along the way that carved the personality of Rama. Even in our life, also, it is easy for us to understand a situation and the decisions to be taken by reading a story, or if it is represented in the form of a story, you will easily catch. We all will easily catch. That's the reason why we have Ramayana as a story. He got all the powers from Vishwamitra. He went to Vishwamitra took Rama to Mithila. That's the place where Sita was waiting to be married. Rama broke Shiva's bow, got married to Sita after the permission of Dasaratha. At that time, Parashurama came. From Parashurama, he took the Vishnu's bow again, that's what he needed to perform whatever he's supposed to do in the future. So he is getting all his ammunition with him, all his powers with him. If we treat him as God, he would have already got all the powers. If he has not shown how he learned as a human being, we would always attribute it that Vishnu is the God. He has all those strengths already. No, he learned all those things and got all those strengths as human being. He proved himself to be a deserving candidate to get those powers. Parashurama agrees that he is the form of Vishnu, so he gave him Vishnu bow. He leaves for Himalayas. Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, and Bharata, Shatrughna, all of them also got married. So Sita had cousins, three cousins. All those three cousins got married to Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. Dasharatha, with four sons and four daughters in law, went back to Ayodhya. They were all very, very, very happy. And at that time, Dasharatha thought that I'm anyway getting old, so I will give this kingdom to Rama. He called Vasishta, his guru, and all his ministers. He told them his intentions, and everyone welcomed that. However, there is a backstory for this entire thing. Dasharatha got first married to Kausalya. He did not have kids. He got married to Sumitra. Again, he did not have kids. When he was getting married to Kaikeyi, Kaikeyi's dad asked him, if you are treating her as a third wife, I don't want to give my daughter to you because my daughter is also a princess and she should be treated as one. And we want her son to be the king after you. Dasharatha by then thought Kausalya is not having kids, Sumitra is also not having kids. The only chance is having kids with Kaikeyi. If that is the case, what is the problem in promising her and her parents that her son will be the next king? So he promised them. By now, when he wanted to make Rama the king after him, which means he is not abiding by his word to Kaikeyi's parents. Vasishta knows it, his ministers know it, but still they were carried away by the love and affection on Rama and love and affection on or the respect on Dasharatha. They have never reminded him that you have given that word to Kaikeyi's parents. Now by not standing by your word, you are going to be infamous. All your lineage above you, your grandfathers, all of them, they stayed on their word. But by not staying back, standing on your word, you will be infamous. No one told that. But Kaikeyi knows it. Kaikeyi loved Rama more than Bharata, no question about it. If you read Ramayana, most of the time Rama was spending time with Kaikeyi. But Kaikeyi was looking at what can happen in the future. If Dasharatha makes Rama the king, anyone in the world or her parents, servants, someone may spill one word out saying that Dasharatha is a liar. Husband's respect is wife's respect. Wife's respect is husband's respect. That's what we have to remember. There is no point in insulting the spouse in presence of anyone, because once you got married, you should treat the spouses, both the spouses should treat each other as two bodies, one soul, two bodies, one mind, two bodies, one thought process. If that is the case, how can my left hand blame the right hand? Similarly, Kaikeyi was also thinking that if Dasharatha performs this, he will be infamous, and I don't want that to happen. She went and reminded him of two boons that she was given by Dasharatha at some in the previous period. And she said, I want Rama to go to forest for 14 years, Bharata be the king. Dasaratha tried a lot to convince her. He was giving her the examples of how Kaikeyi loved Rama. But all she said was, I don't want you to go in the history as a liar. But if you talk nicely, will anyone believe? Will anyone hear? No one. So Dasratha might have said, I don't care. I want Rama to be the king. That's all. I don't care how I go in the history. But Kaikeyi always was caring about it. So she has shown her different characteristics, what she is not, what she was not. So she was very rude with him. She said, this is what I want. I want Rama to go. Bharata should be the king. No more compromising on that. Then Dasratha said, I can't say that. I can't tell Rama that way. She says, fine, on your behalf, I will tell him. Dasratha tells her so many stories to convince. Nothing works. He could not understand the reason behind Kaikeyi's decision. All he was thinking that Kaikeyi is selfish, she's asking for Bharata, and she's asking Rama to go away because he's her stepson. It is very easy to misunderstand people in our lives. You can recall in your life you might have misunderstood so many people. Forget about who all misunderstood you because it is their problem. But how did you misunderstand another person? Go back, review it, and see, was it right? Was I in the right mind to misunderstand that person? What could be happening in his mind? Maybe that's something different. Here I want to say, as I tell you a story. A daughter, a father and a daughter were living very, very lovingly. Mother died in the childhood of the girl, so father took care of her for everything. So they love each other. Daughter got married. She did not want to leave her father. She went to her dad and said, I can't leave you. All along you were living for me. Now, how can I leave you alone? I won't be happy there. I will be there even if you force me to go there. I will go there, but I won't forget you. My soul will be here only thinking about you. Then dad said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Please go. He tried to convince her. Nothing happened. And finally, when she was ready to go with her husband, she was crying profusely. And when she came to take his blessings, her dad said, let your bindi go off. Bindi is the one which Hindus put here, the one which I have here, right? So that's the symbolism for all the married women. They never remove that. A married woman, only during the bath, it might go off, but she always keeps that. No one can see her without that. We call it as bindi, bottu in Telugu. But dad said, oh, that has to go off. Then, when we get married, we have one necklace that husband ties to the wife. That is called tali. That is also another sacred thing that any girl, any married woman will be caring about. He says, let that be broken. And the designs, every married woman puts a design outside her front door with a powder, white powder. That is called muggu. And that is the significant, it signifies that the family is very happy. And dad said, let that be erased. Three things that are very important for a married woman. Dad said, let all of them go out of your life. So, first thing he said, let your bindi be taken off. That is taken off only when husband dies. And let your Mangal Sutra be broken. That is also when the husband dies. It happens. They remove it. And the muggu, that is the design outside your front door, should be erased. That also indicates very bad omen. When she heard that, she was so angry with with her father. She said, "This guy I was loving so much. This is nonsense. I thought he was loving me all his life, but it is not the case. Just because I'm ready to go to my husband, he's he's giving such bad blessings to me. I would never talk to him. I would never see him." She hated him, walked out of the house. 5 years later, she got a baby, and that baby she was carrying him. The first thing a baby sees is either the glasses. If you remember, if you noticed it, if you are wearing glasses, that baby wants to pull that glasses first. If not, they want to touch this bindi and they want to pull it out. They want to know what it is. So they just put their hand on the mother's bindi. And the second thing they play with is her Mangal Sutra. Mangal Sutra is shown only to the husband and to the kid. No one else can touch it. It is so powerful and so sacred. So the boy was playing with that thread here, which broke. He started crawling. He went outside. He crossed the front door and he erased that design. That's when she suddenly remembered her father's blessings. Look at how the blessing transformed. Father was saying that you should have kids, and those kids should be playing with your bindi, they should be playing with your Mangal Sutra, and they should be crawling very healthy, they should be going there and erasing the muggu outside. She did not understand that, and dad did not want her to understand either, because he knew she would not be happy because of her love towards him. So he wanted to bless her the best way, at the same time give her a feeling that father was not loving her. She had that misunderstanding about father. She had not even thought 1 second back. 1 second, will my dad do anything wrong to me? Will my dad wish anything bad for me? She never took it. She never thought about it. She just misunderstood him, left. She enjoyed her life with her husband. That's what her father wanted. For 5 years, she was there. Then the kid was there. 3 years from there, she could understand what was that blessing. By then, she got accustomed to the new life, to her husband. She had her own universe created. Now, she would not miss her father anymore. She understood the blessing of father. At that point, she goes back to father cryingly and says, "I'm sorry, I misunderstood." Similarly, whoever is in life, in our life, whoever loves us, whether they love us, they hate us, whatever it is, we keep our own sacred thoughts. We should not have any negative thoughts. The moment why do we misunderstand anyone? Because we think that they are not thinking the way we are thinking. Fine. If there is a difference, this hand is different from this hand is different from this hand. It's not the mistake of any one of the hands. Similarly, if there is a misunderstanding, there is no mistake on one part. If that person was misunderstanding, you better understand the person and then come to good terms with that person. We will have misunderstandings with the people with whom we spend most of the time, which means the first casualty is our spouse. Do we really understand our spouse? Can we guarantee ourselves that we will never misunderstand our spouse? It does not happen. And this story here is a learning for all of us that misunderstanding is between two people, and I'm part of that. How can I play my part better? How can I try to understand it properly, try to understand from the other side, and get better relationship? Dasratha was misunderstanding Kaikeyi, and he was not ready to tell Rama about it. Kaikeyi sends Sumanta to bring Rama. Rama came to Kaikeyi and he says, "What happened to my dad? Why is he unconscious?" Then Kaikeyi tells him the decision of Dasratha. So Rama says, "I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it. But why is dad not speaking to me? Does he think that I don't understand him? Why can't he tell me just like that, his wish, and I would go out? He's not talking to me because he thinks I misunderstand him." Then Kaikeyi says, "Not that way, but he's not able to tell you this bad news." Rama says, "There is nothing bad news in this." Here, it is written in Ramayana, there was not a single change in his facial expression, his way of talking, his way of behavior. Nothing changed. For him, being a king or staying in a forest are the same for him. That's the height of a person not attaching to anything. Look back at everything that you possess today. Were you born with all of that? If I bought a car yesterday, before I signed the documents and I took the keys, it was owned by the distributor or the car manufacturer. The moment I took the keys by paying some money, car has become mine. And after 3 years, if I think I don't want that, it goes off. Similarly, everything in our life is borrowed. It is leased for certain time. If it is leased for certain time, why should we be worried about losing it? Today I leased a car. 2 years later, the company comes back and says, "Fine, your lease is over, we'll take the car." Why should I be worried about it? Why should I be crying about it? I should know. Similarly, whatever we possess today was possessed by someone else before us and will be possessed by someone else after us. We are just leasing it for some time, and if it is not there, why should I worry about it? Similarly, Rama did not have any change in his facial expression. Coming back to our personal life, if your manager promised you a promotion, or if a recruiting manager promised you a job, but an hour later he comes back and then says, "There are some technical difficulties, I can't offer you the job." We have to develop a character in such a way that I'm so glad you are telling me this. I'm very, very confident that you would have done everything to offer me a job or give me a promotion, but it is beyond your hands. And I was not deserving it at this point. That's why it is not happening. Not changing your expression, not blaming any individual. If I were to get it, I would have got it. That's all. It's not giving up. It's not compromising either. It is the state of the mind to be happy always. If you think, if I have this, I will be happy. If I don't have this, I will be unhappy. You are leaving the control of your happiness to that one piece. And when you get it, it's all done deal. Again, you want something else in your life to be happy. It's all materialistic. Instead of that, if you think within your mind, I'm happy, whatever may be, there may be 100 reasons to be unhappy, but one reason to be happy, just hold on to that one reason to be happy. So, Rama did not change his expression. Rama was the same Rama, happy Rama. Kaikeyi says, I will take care of Bharata. Bharata is in his uncle's house. We will send someone. Now, better you hurry. That's how Rama, Lakshmana, last episode I told you Lakshmana was very angry, but Lakshmana, Rama went to Kausalya's place. At this point, imagine what was going on in Rama's mind and Lakshmana's mind. Rama is never worried about his position, whether he would be king or he will be living in the forest, but he knows his mother does not have the same mindset. Your spouse may not have the same mindset. How do you take care of it? Rama was all along thinking how he should break that news to Sita and Kausalya. First, he went to Kausalya's place. Everyone was very happy. Everyone was hailing Rama. You will be the king now. You will be the king now. He did not say, he greeted them with the same smile. No one could make out from his face that something is wrong. Is that true with us? The moment something, a small thing happens in our life, immediately our face will be, oh God, this life sucks. Oh God, I was supposed to get that, but I have not gotten it. Instead, take the bad news and the good news the same way. Rama greeted all of them with the same positive attitude. He went into Kausalya's place. Kausalya was performing her prayers. That's the biggest day in her life. Her son is becoming king. She was in her prayers. She came out with such a happiness. She hugged him and said, Rama, from today onwards, you will be the king. Your dad will be very happy. The entire citizens are very happy. All of that. When you are breaking a bad news, one should be very, very careful. Here also, Rama said, Mom, I understand it. I love you so much. Please be seated. There is some change in the plan. He did not straight away say, oh, I'm going. My old daddy asked me, my dad asked me to get away from this place. Nothing. He said, Mom, there is a change in the plan. I am going into forest. Bharata will be the king here. Kausalya could not take it. As I said, Kausalya was not at the same mindset as Rama. Kausalya immediately became unconscious. Rama was taking care of her. When she gained her when she was awake again, she was crying. She was trying to stop Rama by any means. She was saying, without you, I will be like a servant here. If Bharata becomes king, Kaikeyi will be the king's mom and I'll be her servant. Is that what you want to give me? So now emotional blackmail. As Kausalya was giving all these arguments, Lakshmana also came in. He said, Rama, no, you are the most deserving candidate. You should be the king here. No one else can be. Let's defy this. Before the entire nation knows about this, take over the reins of this country. That means he was asking him for a coup. I'm behind you. Let's both go fight and take the kingdom from here. When you want to stay on the right course, there will be so many people who will come and tell you not to be. Kausalya said the same thing. Lakshmana was saying the same thing. It is your personality, your strength, and the belief in staying on the righteous course to push away all those pressures. Rama told Kausalya that, Mom, it's dad's wish, and I would never ever doubt his wish. Whatever is happening in this life is good. We don't know what is going on in our life. How can we say that this is the only thing that is right for me? A small story. There was a king's son and minister's son. They grew together. Minister's son always used to tell king that whatever happens in our life is for the good only. One day, king was hunting. His one finger got cut. It was separated. This finger got cut. He was in pain. By then he became king, and the minister's son also became king. Became minister for him. That minister told, "O king, this is also good for us." King was very, very annoyed. He said, "Everything happens in the life is good for us. That's what your theory, right? My finger got cut. It's gone. It's only half now. And you're still saying it is good for me. I don't believe this." And he was so annoyed, he puts him in the prison. Later on, he again went on hunting. At that place, he was so tired, he was sleeping. There was another sect of people in that forest who wanted to sacrifice a human being in their prayers. They come and see the king and says, "Let's take him." They tie him, take him, and then they prepare him to be sacrificed. Then the priest comes, he checks this king all along. King was tired, he was not in a position to do anything. So it's the last minute before he was sacrificed for the ritual there. Then the priest was looking at examining his body, and suddenly he saw this finger was not there. He said, "No, we cannot offer God anything that is imperfect." King does not have the full finger. So, this person, they did not know he was king. This person does not have his full finger, so we cannot sacrifice him to the prayers. So let's release him. Then king realized that, wow, whatever minister said was right. Otherwise, I would have lost my life today. He comes back, releases the minister, and then he says, "Fine, I understand now that whatever has happened to me is for my good. What happened to you? How is it good for you? When you told me, I imprisoned you. In what way it is beneficial to you? Then minister said, O king, if I were not imprisoned, you would have taken me with you always, because wherever you go, you take me. They would have captured both of us. And when they saw that you were not eligible to be sacrificed, they will examine me and they would have said, this guy is all perfect, let us sacrifice him. So, by imprisoning me, you saved my life. That's the attitude we should have in our life. Whatever happens in our life, we should say there is something good coming out of it. Today, it might look that it's a bad thing for us, but it would be the best thing going forward. Personally, I would tell you one year I was gunshot that I will be getting my promotion to my next level. I was ready to celebrate it. But that year I went, they said, no, we could not give you that promotion. Then I thought, maybe. I was not worried. I said, fine. I have all the confidence in you. If you could have given me, you could have given me, but you have not. That's okay. Maybe this is good for me. Imagine in that year, 3 months later, whatever level I was looking, they removed almost 50% of that staff. If I had gotten my promotion, I would have been in the list to be for losing my job. Is it better to have a promotion or to have a job? For me, yes, I'm the single earner at that time, so my job was more important. Is it not a good thing that I did not get my promotion? Similarly, look back in your life. Whatever you thought was bad in your life, and fast forward it later and see how it was good for you. That particular incident would have given you knowledge, experience, or would have saved you from another misery. One guy was very God loving. God fearing is different, God loving is different. I'll talk about that on a different episode. But here he was God loving. That day he was supposed to go to the office at 8 a.m. without fail, but somehow he could not get up at the right time. He used to get up at 5 o'clock, but he got up at around 6 o'clock. So already he was late by 1 hour. He went into the kitchen. The milk got broke. He could not have his coffee. He goes out, tries to start his two-wheeler. It would not start. He goes out, calls a taxi, takes the taxi, and then while going, there was a traffic jam. He could not go. Taxi driver took a D route. He went into the office almost 1.5 hour late. On that day, he was supposed to be there. So instead of 8 a.m., he was there at 9:30. He was very annoyed with God. He said, I loved you so much. I thought you will be behind me every minute and you will make sure that I am successful. And here I am. I failed in everything. Of course, God does not come back and talk to us, but on that day, he decided that he would like to talk to him. He came and told my son, in the morning, there was a very, very ferocious snake in your bathroom. If you were awake at that time as usual, and if you had stepped into the bathroom, it would have bitten you. You'd have died. And while it was coming into the bathroom, in the kitchen, it left some of its poison. It mixed some of its poison in the milk. If you had taken your coffee, you would have died because of that poison in it. You were supposed to die in a two-wheeler accident on that day, today morning, but I made sure that the two-wheeler was not starting, so you left it inside the house and you took the taxi, a four-wheeler. It was going the direction where it was going. There were some riots and bombing happened. If I allowed you to go in the actual route, you'd have been a victim of the bomb. So I created that traffic jam there and derouted you. This is how I saved you. You could have died in many ways, but I saved you. But at the outset, you feel that I delayed you everywhere. I created hurdles for you. That's what we have to understand. In our life, also, when there is a hurdle, when there is a challenge, you have to think that it is going to give you an experience, it is going to enhance your knowledge, it is going to make you a better person. Once you have that positive attitude, nothing bothers. Everything will be everything will be a challenge for you, or everything will be an opportunity for you. Here also, Rama had to negate all the negative feelings, all the negative feedback he was getting, all the negative suggestions he was getting. Mom herself was saying, just defy your dad, take the reins of this country. His own brother was saying, let's do it together. Still, he said, that is not the right thing. As a human being, I will I'm totally confident about my dad's decisions. I will go by his decision and I will make sure that his word is upheld. And because he promised Kaikeyi those two boons, I will have to ensure that he is successful in that. Otherwise, he will lose his fame. He will go as a liar in the history. That's why he has not taken any pressures. He said, I'm going out. We have spent so much time on this incident alone because this is a life changing event for everyone in Ramayana. It showed how balanced Rama was, how he pushed all the suggestions that were not right. He was taking the righteous path. He made sure that his father did not go in the history as a liar. He has not shown, not shown, it's not showing, he has not changed in any aspect. His mood was the same, his facial expressions were the same. He has never ever shown that he was unhappy, because for him everything is the same, everything is good for him, whether sleeping on the floor or sleeping on the best bed. For him they are the same, because again they are all temporary ones. Kausalya begged him so much. Kausalya and all other queens, queens, staff, everyone was trying to stop Rama. All he said was, if you believe in me, I know you love me so much. If you believe in me, please let me go. He did not lose his composure. He did not shout at anyone saying that already I am upset here and you guys are coming and troubling me. Not that. He believed in what he is doing. When you believe in what you are doing, why would you lose your temper? You would not. You will just say, hey, this is the right thing to do. I will do it. Whatever may come. Then Lakshmana said, fine, if that is your decision, I will come with you. As you follow dad's words, I follow you. Don't stop me. Here, Lakshmana was also married Her name is Urmila. Did you ever think about her in this entire episode? Lakshmana loves Rama, so Lakshmana wanted to go with Rama. Rama loves his dad, so on his word, he wanted to leave. And then Kaikeyi wanted her son to be the king, and also in the background, she wanted Dasratha to be in the righteous course. Everyone was there, but who was the loser? If Lakshmana left with Rama for 14 years, Urmila would stay alone here. Is there any mistake from her side that she had to live alone? No one thought about it. She is an unsung heroine in Ramayana. She never came and asked Lakshmana, okay, excuse me, how can you leave me like this? Let Rama go. What Dasratha's wish was Rama has to go. Why should you go? She never said that. She understood Lakshmana's love and affection towards Rama. She said, I will never come in the way of your commitment. That's what every spouse has to understand. Every spouse has to understand where the happiness of the spouse, and let that person do that. Why do you want, just because she or he is your spouse, what right do we have to stop them from what gives them happiness? What they think is the right thing? If you are a true spouse, you have to work towards that. You have to work towards their happiness. Even if it is going to inconvenience you, still you have to work towards that. That's what is love and affection. That's where you were saying two bodies and one soul, two bodies and one mind. Urmila totally believed in it. So she has not said a single word to Lakshmana. She said, go wherever your heart is, do it. Whatever you think is right, go do it. Don't even worry about me. I will stay here for you. Then comes Sita, another character. Rama went to Sita. By then, she got the news and she was waiting. She has not said a single word to him about Dasaratha and Dasaratha's decisions, all of that. She was already ready to leave with him. Rama said, what are you doing? Why are you in these clothes? She said, I'm coming with you. He said, no, no, no. Dad asked me only to go out, not you. You stay back. I can't take you with me. It is very difficult. The life is so difficult there that I don't want you to go through that. I want you to be in a comfortable position in the in the palace. I want you to have all the happiness here. Let me go. This is only for me. And because it is a forest, there will be lions, all sorts of animals, and there will be all bad people. Rakshasas will be there. So it is not safe. Sita said only one word, which stopped all the arguments from Rama. She said, my parents thought that you are capable of safeguarding me. Are you not capable? What would Rama say now? When we are getting into an argument anywhere, how many words you used is not the matter. Have you struck the right chord? Do you have all your facts with you? Don't even think how the other guy is going to counter argue with you. If you have your information correctly and you are going to hit the right spot, you will be a winner. Let the person argue as much as that person wants, but stick to what you think is the right one and just say that point. Similarly, here also, Sita did not say anything. Sita did not say, "Oh no, 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 I'm happy with you only." Nothing. All she said is, a spouse should accompany the spouse. Without you, this palace is a forest for me. With you, a forest is also a palace. How many couples are divorcing thinking the other way? I don't care. I don't want to lose these comforts because of you. Get away from my life. Instead, if you really love that person, you should think that wherever we are together is that what we have happiness in. That's what Sita said. And finally, when Rama said it is difficult, it's life is very difficult, it is dangerous, then she used this final thing that my parents thought that you are capable of safeguarding me, but are you not? Immediately Rama said, okay, let's go. Sita, Rama, and Lakshmana, when they started to leave, Dasaratha saw Sita. Sita was also in the simple sari. Then Dasaratha said, Kaikeyi wanted only Rama to be in those simple clothes. My daughter in law can never be like that. My daughter in law should have everything. Wherever she is, she should have everything. He ordered them that she should have all the gold ornaments and saris in such a way that she does not use the same sari the second time. That means 14 years times 365 total number, so many saris should be packed and sent with her. And all her gold ornaments, she should be the way she was in the palace. This is very important here in the story because when she was abducted, she throws her gold ornaments in such a way that Rama can follow them, treasure hunt. If she has gone like Rama without any gold ornaments, without just a small regular sari, how could she have left all of that? Whether Dasaratha knew about it or not, it's immaterial. But Dasaratha wanted her to have the same lifestyle as she would have in the palace. Another thing we have to understand here, there are so many stories, so many jokes on in laws. No one likes in laws, and such a crude jokes against in laws. But remember, father in law loves the daughter in law so much, even more than his own daughter. Because his lineage, she is going to give birth to her son's son, grandchildren. She is going to give him grandchildren. She has left her parents, she has left everything behind, came into their life. She took his name, his family's name, and she would be introduced as daughter in law of so and so. That's why all fathers in law, this is the message for all the fathers in law, that you have to love your daughter in law. No way out, because she's the reason for the happiness of your own son. If that is the case, why don't you give that importance? If your son loves the car and you take care of that car, you get the car for him, and you will make sure that that car is safe. You will have a garage for it. You will take care of that car so well, just because he loves that car. That car has no life to it. But the daughter in law, the wife of your son, is giving him so much happiness. How much respect you have to give to that daughter in law? And she is the reason for your uh, family to grow. Similarly, for the daughter or daughter in law, also, father in law, remove that in law. He is your father now. If your father, the biological father, has taken care of you for 24 years or whatever it is, you will be spending the rest of the time with this newly found father who is called father in law. What is the harm in calling him father? What is the harm in giving him the same love and affection that the daughter in law would have given to her own father? It's three times more, right? If 25%, 25 years with your biological father, 75 years in the house of your father in law, that means three times you are getting the you are enjoying the benefits of this side of the family. Once we get that internalized, we will start loving them, and we will have the best family together. No more jokes on in laws. Makes sense? That's how Dasaratha made sure that Sita has all her saris, her gold, her comforts. That's the least he could have done for Sita. Then the time came, three of them started. Sumantra was taking them in his chariot. Now think about the people, the citizens. An hour ago, citizens were very happy that Rama will be their next king. Right away, 1 hour later, they got the news that he is going to forest. If Kausalya could not take it, how would those common people take it? They were crying, they were coming onto the streets, they were stopping him. They were saying, "No, you cannot go." Imagine how much Rama should have thought, and how much strong willed he was to go. We may want to do something good, but as soon as there is an escape route, we fizzle out 99% of the time. Instead, if we believe something is the right thing to do, never go back. Whatever may be the pressure, however number of people are pressurizing you, never go back. Similarly, here also, he told all the citizens, if you respect me, if you think that I do the right things, let me go. They followed him. They followed him to the outskirts of the city. Rama said, "You can't come. If all the people in the Ayodhya are coming with me, now Ayodhya becomes a forest, isn't it? No one there. A house becomes a home with the people in it. A country becomes a country with people in it. If the people leave the country, that's worse than a forest. He can't do that because he wants Bharata to be the king of that Ayodhya. If he takes away all these guys, People may misunderstand him that, oh, see, he did tit for tat. He took everyone there. He created his own Ayodhya in the forest. To avoid that, he stops at the boundaries of his country, turns back, says that Sumantra, this is end of your journey with me. You take back all these guys to Ayodhya. If he had any hint of not being happy or not confident that he was doing the right thing, they could have heard that in his voice. That vulnerability, the small vulnerability, people could have taken advantage of it, saying that, no, Rama, we cannot live, we are going to die, you have to come with us. And then Rama would have said, okay, all these guys are anyway dying, so just to protect them, I'm coming back. Instead of that, he told them straight, if you believe in me, if you believe that I do the right things, here is my word, I will come back, you can leave now. They had to respect. They had to respect him. So they all went back. From there onwards, they started their journey. Walking. At one place, they had to cross a river. There was one local, you may call him king or you may call the team lead, whatever it is, fisherman. That's a place owned by fishermen. Still, it is under the kingdom of Rama or under the kingdom of Dasratha. He came to know that Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita are here. He wanted to serve them. Even though he was the king, he would be ordering everyone to get water, to do these things. He himself went to Rama saying that I am your servant. Whenever you see a good person, there is no harm in being servant. In the management also, in the leadership, we say servant leader. Is it a righteous usage? Servant leader. Can a leader be a servant or can a servant be a leader? But we are joining both the words, saying that servant leader is the best leadership, which means you are guiding them. At the same time, you are telling them that I am your servant, I will be your enabler. I will do whatever it takes to keep you happy, to keep you successful. Similarly, here Guha, the fisherman king, he wanted to show his citizens how to treat a good person, how to be a servant to a good person. He goes to Rama, says, Rama, you. So Rama, he already understood that he was God. So he said, Rama, if you think you can easily, excuse me, you can easily cross this river, but I want you to give me an opportunity to help you crossing the river. What does that mean? It's opportunity to help is very difficult to come by. When you have an opportunity to help someone, grab it. That's what Guha was also proving. He said, let me help you. He took him in his boat, both of all the three of them, to the other side of the banks, left there, and even he wanted to accompany Rama. Who does not want to accompany a good person? But Rama said, you have your own duties. You have to take care of your citizens. So you cannot come with me. Stay here. That's the only way you can show respect for me. He went to the other side of the banks and he made his own small room to live. What was happening in Ayodhya now? Bharata was, someone was sent to bring Bharata and Shatrughna. Already the news has gone there that Rama was getting throned, the next king. So they were very happy. They came back. This guy did not tell them anything. They said, "We want you right away in Ayodhya. Just come over." That guy was also not so happy. Bharata could sense it. He said, "What happened? Is everything fine? Is my dad doing good? Is Rama happy? Is Lakshmana doing good? All our mothers are good." So he was asking them all these questions the messenger. Messenger was just quiet. He did not answer anything. When they entered Ayodhya, Bharata was expecting it to be with a festive mood, but he saw everyone was sad. Right then and there, he started guessing something is wrong. He was hurrying. He said, "Take me to Rama's house." But the chariot was going towards Kaikeyi's house. He was not happy with that. That shows how much love and affection was there between the brothers. He went into Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi was also not in her usual attire, and he could see everything fallen. As soon as how home has bad mood, you can easily sense it. The vibes. Some homes you go there, you feel the positive vibes. In some homes, not so positive, negative vibes. But those vibes all are emanating from the people living there, their moods. With those negative vibes, he could right away understand something is very seriously bad. He went and asked his mother. Mother said, "This is what has happened. He was supposed to give me two boons. I asked this. Come home. You will be the king. Congratulations." What would have Bharata did at that time? "Oh, I always thought that I can never be a king because Rama is the first son of Dasharatha. But now my mom, she has got me this one. Oh, so happy. My mom is getting this for me. Whatever I've never thought." Nope. He was very angry at his mother. He said, "I'm disowning you. You are no more my mother. Can you do this way? Can you ask Rama to leave? How could you do that? So, this is not the way. And just to tell someone that you are my mom, I'm not agreeing. So I'm disowning you altogether. You tricked my dad and you did this to Rama." That's when Kaikeyi says, "No, no, no, no. This is what had to happen, and this is what." And Kaikeyi even then did not tell Bharata the actual reason behind it. She was just keeping up that character. Let them hate me. In every bad incident, the considered bad incident, there would be one culprit, one person we'll be blaming. And so she was ready to take the blame for a good cause. Bharata says, "I will kill you. Even though you are mom, I will kill you. That is okay." Then he realizes if that was the right thing to do, Rama would have done it. Rama did not do that, means he did not think that is the right way. And tomorrow, how can I face Rama? If he asks me, how could you kill your mother? What answer can I give him? I cannot lose Rama's affection. I cannot lose his blessings. And he tells Kaikeyi, for that reason, I'm not going to kill you. I'm right away leaving. I'm going to Rama and I'm going to bring him back. I will plead him to come back. As on the other side, as Rama left Ayodhya and that was confirmed, Dasratha could not live any further. Dasratha died. Remember the curse he had, the one which we discussed in the first episode? He thought there was an elephant drinking water in the river, and he heard that sound. Based on the direction of the sound, he left an arrow, and that arrow killed a kid who was taking care of his blind parents. So the blind parents told cursed Dasratha that you will also die because your son leaves you. Today we are dying because our son was killed. Similarly, you will also have the same agony of losing your son, and you will die because of that. It is always said in Hinduism, or maybe everywhere, right? What goes around, comes back to us. Dasratha did that mistake. Now it came back. Rama, his beloved son, left Ayodhya for whatever reasons, so he died. Bharata could not leave, even though he wanted to leave, because someone has to do the rites for him. They cannot leave him that way. In one Ramayana, it is said, one version of the Ramayana, it is said he was stored in some oils, so the body did not get deteriorated. He went to Rama, say, to ask him to come back to Ayodhya, perform the last rites of Dasratha. Everyone with him went. Lakshmana, Kaikeyi, Sumitra, Kausalya, Vasishta, everyone accompanied him. They are supposed to go to pass the same river that Rama passed earlier, right? And Guha saw all of these guys. He said, another misunderstanding. He said, oh, now Bharata has already taken away the kingdom from Rama. He is coming with all these guys, so he would not want Rama to be alive. What if Rama comes back at the end of the 14th year? He has to give it back to him. So Bharata is coming to kill him. If that is the case, I'm not going to let him go. Bharata came to Guha and he said, I know you are a very good friend of Rama. Can you tell me which way Rama went? Guha did not express his doubts. He said, oh, Bharata, come, welcome. Just take some food here. Be my guest. Stay here. Let's talk. You have traveled so far. And while he was talking, Bharata was expressing, he was crying a lot. He was saying, how can my mom do this way? I cannot live without Rama. I want Rama to get back. And I am here to plead and take him out, take him back to Ayodhya. Then Dasratha was ashamed of his own thought process. He said, how could I think Bharata will be against Rama?
You said Dasratha, you meant Guha, right?
Yeah, Guha, sorry. Guha thought, How could I think Bharata is against Rama? They're all one and the same. He happily goes with Bharata to reach Rama. On the other side, Lakshmana saw a huge army coming, lot of people coming, and then he realized Bharata was one of them. He is the most angriest person of the four. He ran back to Rama and said, "See, Bharata is coming to have a battle with us. He wants to kill both of us. He does not want you to be alive. He does not want any more competition even after 14 years." The same way as Guha thought, Lakshmana was also thinking. And he said, "Rama, come, 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 take Sita, go other side. I am going to kill all these guys. And that's how you can be the king again." Rama looked at him and then said, "Lakshmana, seems like you want to be the king of Ayodhya." Lakshmana could not understand. All his anger, everything just suppressed at the same moment. Rama said, "I have been telling you that this is the right decision and this is what our dad wanted, and I'm going to keep his word. Time and again you are coming and then said, let's fight, let's take this kingdom, all of that, which means if I become king, you will be with me, so you will also be like a king. So looks like you wanted the kingdom." Again, look at the powerful word he used. Sita used one powerful word with Rama, and Rama used one powerful word with Lakshmana. He did not say anything. He did not stop him. He did not say, "No, no, Bharata is good. You should not be thinking like that. Be positive." Nothing. He just said that one word. Lakshmana's anger went off. He cannot afford to lose Rama's faith in him. He cannot afford to lose Rama's love and affection. Immediately, he calmed down. Bharata approached them. As soon as he saw Rama, he fell on his feet. He said, "Please forgive me, forgive my mom. I did not know anything about this." He was worried that Rama would misunderstand him. Even though they were so close brothers, still he did not understand Rama. That's what Rama says. "Bharata, you have not understood me. If you are the king or I am the king, does it really matter? If right hand is wearing the ring or the left hand is wearing the ring, or right hand is having the gold biscuit in it and the left hand having it, does it matter? Will those two hands fight with each other? So why is this differentiation here? Whether you are the king or I am the king, it does not matter. All I have to do is keep up the word of my dad, our dad." Then the sad news broke. Bharata said, "Dad is no more. I want you to come back and perform the rites for him." Rama says, "When dad was alive, he told me to leave Ayodhya for 14 years. It is even more, it is my responsibility even more when he is not alive. Because when he is alive, he could have asked me why I've defied him. But now there is no one to ask, which means I should be more responsible." Kaikeyi comes. Kaikeyi also, for the sake of rest of the people, she says, "Come over, Rama, please. I've done this all for Bharata, but Bharata does not want it. Please come over." Rama understood all of this. So Rama said, "There is no mistake from anyone here. It had to happen. It happened. No point in blaming anyone. And my word is not changing. My decision is not changing. I will be here only. I'm not entering Ayodhya for next 14 years. Remember last time we discussed the legality of someone losing rights for to others for 14 years straight. The person loses the right to get it back forever unless the person acts on behalf of the owner. So you can write a general power of attorney in someone else's name to take care of your asset. And even if that person takes care of the asset for more than 12 years in the current age, still he is acting as an agent. You have not transferred the ownership to that person. Both Rama and Bharata, they knew all of these things. So Bharata said, I am not going to be the king. I will be your representative. If you are not willing to go back to Ayodhya, and if you insist that I rule Ayodhya, there is only one condition. Give me your footwear. I will put the footwear. I will treat the footwear as you, and the footwear will be the king. I will sit next to it as an agent, which means even after the 14 years, Rama will not lose his right on Ayodhya. How intricate these things are. Rama agrees to that. Then Bharata says one more thing. He says, I'm not going to Ayodhya. Nandigama is the village at the outskirts of Ayodhya. That's the last of Ayodhya. I will stay in Ayodhya. I will stay in Nandigama. It's a word, I mean, it's a village name, Nandigama. I will stay here only. I will treat your footwear as the king. I will act as your agent. I will wait only 14 years, not a second more than 14 years. If you are not here within the end of that 14th year, I will enter fire. I will sacrifice myself. That means he's binding Rama to come back. Rama says, sure. And all the four brothers, they perform rites to, last rites to Dasaratha there itself. Here they say that Lakshmana, you don't have your dad anymore. Bharata, you don't have any dad. Sita, you have lost the most valuable person in your life. He did not say you lost your father in law because he knows the importance of father in law in the life of his wife. So please go with that mindset. Your spouse parents are your parents and they love you, or they love you as much as they love their own kid. Once you have that mindset, everything is green, everything looks positive. By saying that, we can understand how important Dasaratha was in the life of Sita. So we are almost at the end of 90 minutes. So 84 minutes we have spent in this one. So with the news that Rama performed the final rites of Dasaratha and convinced Bharata to go back, rule the country, though as his representative, all the legalities have been taken off for Rama to come back and become the king again. And Bharata is also satisfied that there was an amicable settlement. All of them went back. Then Rama thought, if he were there in the same place, it is easily accessible to anyone from Ayodhya or from Nandigama. He didn't want that. He started moving away from that place to a different forest. We will we will continue in the next episode. Thank you so much again for your time. I know Prakash was saying that you are from different parts of the world. For some people, it is midnight, for some people, early morning. I am so indebted to you for allowing me to share my thought process on this Ramayana and respecting me on those my thoughts also. So may God bless you. May God give you everything in your life that you need to be happy. Enjoy rest of the day wherever you are.